Hi, in this video I will show you guys an example that is very similar to exercise 40 question number 1. Alright, so I will show you guys a formula that I did not show you guys in class because I was hoping that maybe some of you guys would be able to figure out the formula, the equation. Right, so in exercise 40 question number 1, they want you guys to write down a formula. I was hoping that maybe you guys can figure that out. Just kind of create a table and then maybe you can figure out a pattern from there. If you tried and you still couldn't figure out the equation, I hope you will find this video helpful. Alright, so I'm gonna do a very similar example and which will help you with this specific question, question number 1 of exercise 40. Alright, so let's get started. So here I have a formula. This formula should be able to help us to solve any question that involves interest or percentage going up, maybe some discount or some any questions like that. Okay, so let's dive right into the equation. So we have A is equal to P multiplied by 1 plus R over N in parentheses the whole thing to the power of NT. So A represents the amount accumulated, which is just how much we have um, after certain period of time, right? P, the principal, it is just the amount of money. Most of the time, it's about money. The amount of money that we have at the very beginning. So maybe something you can think of it as something that initially, how much we had, how much was there initial. Okay, that's what that we call it, that principal. And R is the interest rate, and most of the time they will give you R in terms of percent, but make sure you change percent. Make sure you change percent to decimals. Okay, decimals. All right, and then finally we have N and T. Okay, so let's start with T first. T is just something T with only one T, and that says number of periods. So for example, if I put amount of money in the bank and the bank will pay me some interest, after 3 years, how much money am I gonna get? That after 3 years, the 3 in that case is my T. Okay, so what's N? N is more like how many times we are getting paid or we are paying the interest in one period of time. Okay, now right now N and T might sound a bit confusing, but when we look at the example at the bottom here, we will get what's the difference between N and T right away. Alright, so let's do that right away. Let's do that now. Okay, so go ahead, pause the video and read the question. When you understand what you have to do, come back again. I'll see you guys in a minute. Alright, welcome back. So what we have here is initially we will have $1,000. Sorry, $1,000, and then the interest rate is 12% per year. 12% per year. And then they want us to find how much money do we have after 3 years. After 3 years. If the interest is compounded, which means if the interest is being paid annually, semi-annually, quarterly, monthly, and daily. Alright, so we're gonna have different answers if the interest was being paid at different frequencies. The time that we're getting paid for the interest is different. So okay, so let's see how does that affect our calculation. So we have my P in this case would be 1,000 because that's what I'm starting with, right? That's what I'm starting with. I have 1,000 here. and my interest rate is 12%, 12% per year. So remember to change that to decimals. So I have 0.12. And then they're asking us how much do we have after 3 years. So t is equal to 3 after 3 years. So t is equal to 3. Now the only thing that is missing from the formula is my n, right? My n, right? So we don't know what's my n. In fact, we do actually have that piece of information. If the interest is being compounded annually, that means once per year, my n is equal to 1. And if the interest is being compounded semi-annually, this is n is equal to 1. Okay. Semi-annually means I'm going to do that twice per year. Semi-annually, I'm going to put it there. It's blocking a little bit, but you can see it. So semi-annually, n is equal to 2. And quarterly means I'm going to do that 4 times a year. Monthly, that means 1 year we have 12 months, so they will pay us 12 times a year. And finally, daily. So we have 365 days a year, so that means they will pay us 365 times. So I hope you guys see the difference between the n and the t. Right? So n is basically how many times will the interest be compounded, that's the technical term, given the period of time that we have. So make sure that we're talking about the same unit here. So here my t is 3 years. My t is 3 years. So I need to make sure that everything here is in years. So this is 3 years. This is annually means once per year. Semi-annually 2 times a year. Quarterly means 4 times a year. Monthly means 12 times a year. Daily means 365 times a year. Make sure you pay special attention to the units. So now we have all the missing pieces, and I can find how much money I will have. Okay. Alright, so let me just put down an expression, a generic expression to find how much money am I going to have for t after t number of years. So let me call that a of t is equal to, so my p is 1000, so 1000 multiplied by 1 plus, so what's my r? My r is 0.12. Okay, let me fix that. 0.12, close parenthesis, and then the power is, okay, let me do this carefully. Okay, I think in fact it'll be easier if I just write this whole thing instead of typing it. So let me erase this. Okay, and let's do this again. Alright, so my a, I'm going to write an expression for a of t, which is just the amount of money that I have, right, after t number of years. This is equal to 1000 multiplied by 1 plus, my r is 0.12. So if they want us to find how much money am I going to have if the interest will compound it annually, which means once per year, that's my n. N is equal to 1 to the power of 1 times t. Right now I'm talking about t number of years. So my expression would be a of t is equal to 1000 multiplied by 1.12 to the power of t. And if they want us to find how much money am I going to have after 3 years, so that's when I substitute t is equal to 3 and put that in your calculator. You should get something around 1404.93, something like that, right? That's what I have in my calculator. 1404 and 4.93. Okay, so that is how much money I will have in the bank if I were to put in $1,000 in it, and the bank pays me 12% per year, and the interest is being compounded annually. And I just leave the money there for 3 years. I will end up with $1,405, right? So let's say if I let's let's try different. So instead of annually, let's say if my interest is being compounded monthly, how does that affect the money that I have, right? So very similar. Let's say A of t in this case. So my n is different now, but my p, my r, my everything stays the same, but my n, right? So 1,001 plus my r stays the same, 0.12 over. Now let's do the one with quarterly, right? Quarterly where n is equal to 4. I'm just gonna skip the semi-annually. So do this 4 times a year, and my n is equal to 4 times. Let's just do 3. Let's just do 3 right away. So I will have 3 there. So here I will also have 3. My t is equal to 3. And if you put that in the calculator, you will get 1,425, 1,425.76. All right, so you can see that there I do get a little bit more if the bank pays me 4 times, pays me interest or compound the interest quarterly. Another way of saying that, if the bank pays interest 4 times a year, I do get a little bit more than a bank where they just pay us once per year, right? So I hope you guys understood how to apply the formula up here. A is equal to P multiplied by 1 plus R over N, the whole thing to the power of NT. Good luck, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.